This video is for all the children out there and the adults out there who have dual backgrounds, as it were, whether it be having two parents who are different ethnicities, two parents who are different races, or two parents who are from different cultures. Also, those children who are recent immigrants from one country to another, who are dealing with a shift where they have basically they have to exist inside of two cultures. This video is for all of us. Whenever I was a child, you know, my mother had wanted me to fit in 100% into her culture, not realizing that my experience when I was away from her, um, the world didn't perceive me as being what she was. The world saw me as being some other entity, whatever the otherness was. And there was always disagreement. Some people had their assumptions about what they felt that my racial makeup was, but nevertheless, there was always the otherness factor. Now, as a child, of course, once you reach adolescence, you start to struggle with identity and who am I, what am I, and we struggle with it as kids, especially more so these kids that have these dual backgrounds. Now, eventually, at some point, I guess maybe around 12 or 13 years old, I started to develop my own identity. I started to define for myself what I was. Um, I wasn't what my mom wanted me to be. I wasn't always what the world wanted me to be. I had to find out who I was. Who would I be happy with me being? And I had to self-define that. And that process led to me being much happier. Now, there are some people in the world who don't always understand my identity. They feel like it doesn't fall into a certain line, as though I'm supposed to fit into this box, and I have to define and live inside of that box. And my mother isn't always happy with my, new identity. Well, not new anymore, but since the time of that 12 or 13-year-old child that I was, she wasn't always comfortable, and still to this day isn't really always comfortable with who I've become. She wants me to be just like some people in the world want me to be. They want me to be this one little box, fit into this entity, and don't try to be anything else. And that's unfair. Not only to the child who has dual identities with, having the double cultures, but also for, all people, who don't want to fit into or don't feel like they have to stay inside of that box. So at some point in your life, you have to make the decision. Who are you going to make happy? Are you going to make certain people in the world, because not everybody in the world is going to have a problem with you being yourself. There are just certain people who will feel uncomfortable with your choice to be independent and choosing who you are and what you believe. But who are you going to make happy? You or them? Because if you're not happy, then how can you live your life? And if you're not happy, how can you make anyone else happy? You have to make the decision. The choice is yours.